Hello everyone, welcome back to FX021. So in this course, I'm gonna teach you how to make this environment with Houdini and Unreal Engine 5. So you can see all this is real time and looks really amazing. And you can see we import our Houdini file here, and we have all the parameter here, which I expose in here in Houdini, and we can use that in the Unreal Engine. And after you've done all that, you can just bake out your model here. And this model has lots of polygon. Like if we see so many polygon, okay, and Unreal still runs in real time with all the volumetric scenes and particles. So it's really amazing. So no more talk, let's jump inside into Houdini. So in this class we got several elements for us to create. First, the scifi ball you see in the Unreal, and also the particles, and we have the Niagara in Unreal, which is the pop solver in Unreal, and we can do particle simulation in Houdini and export as a JSON file and import in Houdini, in Unreal. And also we have terrain, and we have scattered these procedural rocks as a proxy. And in Unreal you can just replace with the Megascan model. You see, you can have the material for terrain. You can have the mesh. Where is it? Yeah, you can have the static mesh. That instance in Unreal. So yeah, and also we got this smoke. So the smoke is, let me see, the smoke is here. This smoke is actually a particle, and we have a grid on it, and it always faces to the camera. Okay, so you can see it's always facing the camera, and we can do that with the sub UV material. And let me check. So yeah, this one here, this is the smoke material and the Niagara particles. So in Houdini we can make the smoke loop. As you can see here, there are 240 frames here, and if I play this, you can see that the smoke is a perfect loop. Let's wait. Let's jump to the frame 219 and play, and you can see as it passed 240, it's still looping. Okay, it's a seamless loop. So yeah, so we got a lot to cover in this tutorial. So the first thing we do is let's talk about the sci-fi boss I make. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the procedural parameters here. So in the sci-fi shape I expose some parameter here. You can see while I change it's called front frame, which is this thing here. If I change, you can see it's fully procedural, and the seed here you can change, and this size, also the outside pattern here, make it big or small depending on what you need, and random seed, extrude, and extrude distance. Yeah, so let's dive inside. So first thing first, we're gonna create a sphere, and for the sphere, let's press W to go to the wireframe mode here. So make sure you rotate this like I mean, if we create a sphere here, this face is gonna be up here. Okay, so make sure you change the rotation to the z-axis, so it's facing this way, and change it to polygon mesh. And I have copied the parameter here and paste it here. So paste relative reference here. So when I change the rows here, these two are linked. Okay, so yeah, so this is the sphere. And in a rail, I have this part deleted, so the front and the back as well. So we need to create a group for that. If you are in Maya, you maybe like select the face here and delete, but in Houdini, I just create a group here called front. It's based on the normal, so the group name, let me check, group create. So the group name, I change it to $OS, means the $OS means the node name. So the node name is called front. So the group name is gonna be front. Okay, so you can see when you use the wheel to click on it, it shows the front. So $OS, so it's the front group. Okay, and you can uncheck the base group. Base group, if you check the base group, all the faces gonna be selected. So you uncheck that and check keep my normals here, and the direction here is the z-axis, because as you can see here, the z-axis here. So change it to 1, so 0, 0, 1, and just change the spread angles here, so you can see this yellow one is our group you selected here. And just copy this node and call it back. Okay, so change the name to back, and the group gonna be back. Group name gonna be back, and change this to -1 because it's the back face. Okay, so it's gonna be here, and the spread angle here, just go to the front one, copy parameter here, and paste relative reference here. So if you change the spread angle in the front panel here, the back can also change. So these two have the same value here. Okay, so now we got the front group, we got the back group here. Now let's create a blast node, and the blast node here, you can just, because we have this group name created, so we can just delete the front and the back. I think you can just put it in one node, but just for clear to see, I just use 2 blast node here. So now we got this, a hollow sphere. So now let's go to the merge node here. You can see we got these separate from top and bottom. So what I do is I just, let's go to the blast node here. I just go to the, click on the perspective here, go to the front viewport, and I just, use a blast node here, change it to primitive because we want to delete the faces. And I just click this arrow here and just select the bottom part and delete. And for the top part, I just, for this, I just copy the same node and check delete and non-selected here. And I merge this two. And for the top part, I just transform this up a little bit. So you can see, I just transform up a little bit. And there you got these two separated. Okay. Perspective, yeah. And it doesn't have thickness here. Okay. So I just use a poly extrude here. Change the distance to -1 here, and then I reverse because the normal are wrong. Okay, just reverse the normal, and here I use a soften normals here. I don't think you need this, but if you don't use this, please use normal here. Okay, just use a regular normal node here and connect it here. I think that's the same thing. Make sure every object you made, you have a normal node here. You can see, just otherwise it's gonna be shaded differently in Unreal. It's gonna be weird. Okay. So now we have our geo here. When you press number 5 on your keyboard, you can see there's no UV. Okay. So I use a UV unwrap here. Now you can see it got UV. You can change the spacing here. It doesn't matter. Just make sure these are big, so we got enough texture resolution on this on the model. And use a UV layout here to make it bigger, so this part can get more resolution on the texture. So now you can see it got texture on it. Okay, now this is done. Okay, it's not done yet, but this part is done. We also have this Unreal material here, which we'll talk about later when we import this into Unreal. Okay, so Unreal material here is just, in Unreal, when you import the model inside Unreal with Houdini, you need to assign a material to it, but Houdini can automatically find what material this should use based on the attribute Unreal material instance, and you just paste the path here, and this material will be automatically assigned to the object. But I will talk this later. So the model part here is done. Okay, it's for the min here. Okay, now let's go to the outside pattern. So for outside pattern here, I just use the merge node here. It's the one before we extrude. So we're gonna use this surface and we will create this. Okay, so create a node here called lot subdivision, which you need to download the scifi labs here. You can see it on the shelf. If you don't have that, just plus icon shelf and check scifi labs here. I think you may need to restart Houdini after you install it. So when you successfully install the scifi labs, if you type labs here, you can see all the labs node here. Okay, and this node is come with the scifi labs, so lots subdivision. So I'm gonna show you how this works on a grid. So let's create a grid here and turn on the poly. Press W to view the wireframe mode and view the lots subdivision here. You can see we got this pattern. Okay, and you can just change the size, iterations, random seed, and this cluster lots. It's a cool node. So basically what you see here, minimum lot size, random seed, that's what I expose in here. Okay, you can see the name here. It's this. It's almost the same here. Number of clusters, random seed. Yeah. So basically, this node I use a lot in this setup. So yeah. So we got this our sphere, and I just use a lot subdivision here. Let's go to the wireframe mode here. You can see, and you can just change the parameter here, and you can use a random selection node. It's also from the scifi labs. So let's use a grid to show you. So now we get this grid. If you use a random selection node here and change it to primitive. Okay, and you can change the ratio. You can see these blue ones are the ones that being selected, and you can change the seed here. Okay, so basically I'm using this node to select these primitives on the on this sphere here. Okay, and then I extrude them. So I extrude the one that I selected. Okay, so you can see I have this extrude ratio, which is the ratio on the random selection here. Okay, so just change this to primitive, and maybe the selection mode you can choose whatever looks the best. So what I do here is probability, and you see, and you can delete the one that it's selected, so you got this kind of scifi lock here. And now we got this. I also attach another random selection here, so you can see these gray one are the one I selected, and I will only extrude these gray parts here, I think. So in the primitive wrangle here, I write sc skill equals scd.r. What this means is, based on the color here, it's assigned to the attribute c skill, and this sc skill gonna use in the poly extrude mode here. So you can see if you have let's say you have a sphere here, and let's view on it. So you got all these polygons, and if you use poly extrude node here, you can see it's look like a transform node, but it's not. It's extrude all the faces in for the same distance, so it's all 0.03 for all the primitives. So it looks like it's transforming, but it's not. So what I want to do is, because I have different color, on this grid, so I only want to extrude more in these gray areas. Okay, so the poly extrude node, you can see it's channeled to the distance here. The distance is what I expose it in HDA, where I will talk about later. But the thing is, we got the local control here. You can turn on that, so the distance scale. So it will, when you extrude this, it will basically, if the distance is 1 here, it will times the z scale. So if it's 1 and our z scale for this is 1, so 1 times 1 is 1. But if the z scale on this primitive, because the color is different, so this might get 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. So we get different extrude scales for these different colors. Okay, so that's why I have assigned the color to the z scale, and because z scale is used in the poly extrude distance scale here. So make sure you go to the local control here and turn on the distance scale, and just increase the distance here. So now you can see these gray ones are different. You can see they have different ratios. Okay, and now we have this attribute delete. So I just after I extrude, then I just delete the color on these gray ones, and just assign normal here, and get a UV project to give them a little bit UV on it, and that's the pattern for here. So now if we merge these two, you can see that's what you got here. Okay, almost done. And this as well, this red one is the material here. I think Houdini already got this, so you just type Unreal, it will have an Unreal material here. So it will have the name and real material, and you just the pass here. Okay. Now what we want to do is create the frame here. Okay. So the frame here is gonna be, we got another sphere here which is smaller than the one we created before, and we have these frames on it. Okay. So this sphere is the one that is smaller. If we template the one we create first, you can see it's smaller. So what I do there is I create a sphere and I link the radius to this one. So this one is 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and this one, based on that, I minus 0.07 on each axis. So it's smaller, and all other things are the same. So even if I think I change the one on the outer sphere, the inner sphere is gonna follow. So just link the scale rows columns to this one, and just minus a little bit for each axis here. Okay, and basically it's the same. So I got front face, back face, and it's smaller. Okay, and delete. You already know that, and the idea are the same. So let's turn off this. The idea is the same. Lots subdivision here. You can see it's messed up. I think I turn on the cluster lots because they have the more interesting pattern here, but this node doesn't work well on this curved surface. So, but it's okay because for this I only want these lines. So when I got this pattern, I know the normal are fucked, and it doesn't look good. So I fuse a little bit. So I fuse the so you can see I fuse the point a little bit, and then I just use a convert line here. So now these are lines. Okay, even if you press W to the wireframe mode or go to the solid mode, it still look like this. Okay, so it's now a line here, and if you turn on the point here, you can see the point here. So I use a resample node here, so the points are more here, so they got more simple, and use a sweep node. So now it got these turn that into polygons. So for each line they got a pipe surrounded, and for the sweep node you need to, the default I think it's the second input cross sections, which will cause an error. So you can change to round tube, square tube, ribbons based on what you need, and just check compute UV, and I think now you can see each one they got UV on it. Okay, but it doesn't matter because it's so small, you won't see in the scene like this. You see, you don't even see the textures, but just so you know, you can compute UV here, and I just fuse a little bit here because these are separate. I just fuse them, and then I compute normals on it, and then it's frame out, and this is the Unreal material here, and then we have the inner ball here. So this is based on the inner frame. So we got this sphere before, and we got the front one deleted. So based on that, I extrude, reverse, create a normal, and auto UV on it. So it does have UV, and that's down for it. And we also have these front. Let me check. So yeah, this is the front one. let's merge this two so you can see what's going on here. So yeah, that's what you see here. But I think you don't need to create this one here because it's covered by this particle later. And if the material is too shiny, then it will have like weird reflection on it. So I end up just assign a black material with no like with a lot of roughness on it. So I think you don't need to create this one, but yeah, this one is just the blast node to get rid of the front one and extrude it and transform back a little bit and poly extrude again, create normal auto UV, but I don't think you need this one. Okay, and now what we left is the emission, and I don't think you need this one. So it's the one inside the entire ship. So if we have this, and you can see this is the one in here. So I make this assign a emissive material on it so it will shine inside, but I don't think I end up using it. But it's just a sphere with transform and create a normal, unwrap, and UV layout. Okay, so all that we just create a merge here. Now this is the ship, and in Unreal I just scale up 100 so that we can import into Unreal and create out here. Okay, we will make our Houdini digital asset all together, so I will not talk about how to make that in the first lesson. So after we finish our particle, terrain, and smoke, then we will make the digital asset for the ship here. So yeah, thank you for watching this. That's it all for today. So if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel